racing at Monticello. The world's very fastest half-mile track, that's Monticello Raceway. Meet you at Monticello. There's excitement at Monticello.
Good evening once again. Welcome to the Inside Track. I'm your host, Gary Sussman. In past shows on the Inside Track, we've taken you to the beginning of the races. We've taken you into the starting car. We've taken you into the lab. Well, on today's show, on the personality profile, we're going to take you to the end of the race, that being the photo finish. We're going to take you upstairs and show you exactly what happens when a race ends at Monticello Raceway and at other harness tracks around the country. The professor will be on to look at the $1 million Meadowlands Pace and also a $100,000 Sire Stakes race from Roosevelt Raceway. We haven't had Roosevelt on the Inside Track until this show. We'll also have trivia, another classic flashback, and more coming up on the Inside Track. But first, let's take a look back and see who did what on the Week in Review. Humberto Rodriguez, he is our driver of the week. He won both ends of the Daily Double on Monday, July 12th with Classic Fella and Fireball Creed. He doubled his entire 1981 win output on that day. Frank Yanati, a double on Friday, July 17th, including Quick Skipper in the 8th, who paid $67.80 to win. Yanati has 16 wins on the year. Johnny Gilmore, a double on Monday, July 12th, singles on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. 63 wins on the season. He is the dash leader at Monticello Raceway. Mr. Terry Ickes, a single on Monday, July 13th. Wednesday, July 15th, a double with Night Gay and Mr. Cocky. 23 wins on the year. He's also the second leading trainer. Ken Galata won his first race in 24 starts on Saturday, July 18th, when he guided Colombo Hanover to victory in the fourth race. The horse paid $39.80 to win. And how is the Liberty native, Mr. Cap Manzi, doing? Not too bad at all. He is currently 6th on the national money list with purse earnings of almost $1.3 million. And one of the Manzis, at least, is making some money. And that is our Week in Review. Time now for the highlight calls of the week. And one of my good friends, Mr. Bill Heller, who was on the show several weeks ago, came up to me at the Raceway the other day and said, Gary, why do you tell us who wins the races on the highlight calls? Well, for Bill and for all those other people, we're not going to tell you this time. Let's go to Friday, July 17th. It's the New York Sire Stakes for 3-year-old colts and geldings, $25,000 purse. 10-horse field, star-studded, including Kilk Galbraith was in the field. Billy Houghton on Sharp Frost. And Sharp Frost by Christopher T. had the lead early, but lost it and regained it approaching the 3/4 pole. But let's watch the stretch run. So let's set the stage for you. Friday, July 17th, race number 5, and for the call, upstairs to Mr. Jerry Glantz.
Sharp Frost on the outside, second and going up. Hot Blooded on the outside is third. Sensation goes off stride. They go by 3/4 in 1:33 3. Paddock turned the final time. Sharp Frost getting the lead. Tony's Mon at the rail second. Hot Blooded driving up on the outside third. Far back to Chris Call. They've got 1/8 of a mile to trot now. They turn for home. Sharp Frost and Billy Houghton by 1.5 lengths. Hot Blooded in the outside. Tony's Mon third. That's Sharp Frost in the lead. Hot Blooded coming to him in the outside. Sharp Frost the rail. Hot Blooded in the outside. Sharp Frost in front.
Billy Houghton in the sulky holding on to win that race. 2 minutes and 4/5 to capture the New York Sire Stakes at the Mighty M. Once again, that purse over $25,000. Our second highlight call was also on Friday, July 17th. It was race number 8. It was also a New York Sire Stakes for 3-year-old colts and geldings, an 11-horse field. Now, Hidden Cash by Song Can, Clint Galbraith in the sulky, went off as the 9-5 morning line favorite and was the betting choice at post time. Held the lead through 3/4 when W.T. Murphy challenged on the outside. Let's see what happens. So let's set the stage. Friday, July 17th, race number 8, and let's go once again to the call.
Making it up on the outside, fourth. Breeze in Paradise, fifth, 3/4, 1:33 3. Paddock turned the final time at the rail. Hidden Cash. W.T. Murphy on the outside, second. Drummer Boy Dunlow, third. A length back, Strike Price racing fourth. They've got 1/8 of a mile to trot now. They turn for home. Hidden Cash trying to hold on to the lead. W.T. Murphy on the outside. Drummer Boy Dunlow third. Through the lane, Hidden Cash at the rail. W.T. Murphy on the outside. That's Hidden Cash in front.
Hidden Cash with Clint Galbraith in the sulky, 2:04 1/5, holding off W.T. Murphy in the stretch to win that $26,000 division of the New York State Sire Stakes for 3-year-old colts and geldings. And those are the highlight calls of the week on today's Inside Track. Coming up on the personality profile, I talk with Mr. Jim Bernhardt of Jones Precision and Mr. Alan Crawford, one of the judges at Monticello Raceway, and they tell you about the photo finish. We'll have that for you right after this message.
Now y'all just know this is the mighty Mississippi, don't you now?
Surprise! Every place you see here is in New York State, because New York has more to see and do than most countries. Call for a free vacation guide that shows you where everything is.
Now let's head for old Dixie.
By 3/4, 133 3. Paddock turned the final time. Alfano Hanover with the lead. Jim Bargene second. Bye Mermaid moving up in the outside third, over strain fourth. Jack's Wild along the rail fifth. They've got an eighth of a mile to pace now. They turn for home. Alfano Hanover's been there all the way. Jim Bargene at the rail with Bye Mermaid in the outside. Alfano Hanover with the lead. Bye Mermaid in the outside. Bye Mermaid coming on.
What you have just seen is a stretch call from a race at Monticello Raceway, a race on a beautiful Sunday afternoon at the Mighty M. And as with that race and every race at Monticello and harness tracks around the country, a photo is taken of the winning horses and the second and third place horses in the race, as with all horses that are in that particular race. And we're upstairs in the catacombs of the grandstand at Monticello Raceway this day with the general manager of Jones Precision Photo, Mr. Jim Bernhardt. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss how the photo finish pictures are taken and how the process works. Jim, not too many people have ever been up in this room, up in the grandstand.
No, that's true. Not too many.
Before we talk about how the pictures are taken, why don't you give us a little history about the photo finish camera and Jones Precision itself?
Well, Jones Precision specializes in photo finish for racing operations and presently is servicing over 30-odd racing operations. This comprises about 3,500 days or nights of racing, both thoroughbred and harness.
Now, what about the camera itself? How did it come to be to photograph races? It seems like a very logical thing to do, but how did that come about?
Well, the camera first came into being back in 1935 by way of wanting to do something with the 1932 Olympics. So the camera was first utilized at Santa Anita. That was their inaugural meeting in 1935. And from that time forward, there's been various type cameras, but basically this is the camera known as the optical or strip camera that's used throughout the industry.
Now, you brought up the type of camera. Explain for those who don't know what type of camera is used, because it's not a regular camera that someone would take a regular picture with.
That's true. It's considered to be a strip or optical type camera. It does not employ the use of a shutter. Its shutter is actually an aperture that remains open at all times.
And it only photographs those horses that are in motion.
That's right. As they cross the finish line, not before, and just as they cross through the finish line.
Now, some people might think that the camera focuses on the horses through the entire race, but that's not true. It's just on the strip at the finish line.
That's right. The camera is locked into position on the surveyed finish line, and the leading edge of the aperture is coinciding with the surveyed finish line. Therefore, if a horse should stop moments before he reaches the finish line, he would not be recorded.
So, on that same answer, only the horses that do cross the finish line will have their images on the picture.
That's right. Regardless of where they finish in terms of either inside or outside, it cannot favor one over the other. It just photographs at the finish line the full width of the racetrack.
That's a little bit about the history of the camera and so on and so forth. Why don't we go through now the steps that are necessary when photographing a race? For example, the race that we just saw.
Well, the cameras are activated perhaps 50 yards before the finish line by the cameraman They are at that point in time recording the racetrack itself, the finish line area, and as each horse crosses the finish line, they are recorded. It records every race, or rather every horse in the race, regardless of where they are. Upon the last horse crossing the finish line, we then go into a dark state, obviously for photographic purposes, and process the negative. That is done within 15 seconds and fixed in about 3 seconds, loaded into a negative carrier, and it is projected to the judges in their room in approximately 35 seconds.
The entire process then, as you said, 35 seconds, very, very quick.
Yes, it is, yes.
And we should point out, for those people who are watching, that we are standing in a lighted room. Everything, though, is done in the dark.
Right, through that point until the negative is actually projected into the judge's area, yes.
Now, you just explained every photo that takes place during a race. It's shown to the judges, then the judges can ask for a print?
Yes, normally the average photo is not that tight, as we refer to it, that would require a photographic print. So therefore, to expedite it, the whole operation, and for the judges to get the numbers to the mutuals officially to begin the payoff system, we normally just project the negative. However, if it is very close or the next thing or a dead heat, we will make a 10 by 12 positive print for them then to make their decision from.
Now, from the time that the race ends to the time that the judges receive the picture, that's 35 seconds. How long then before they can receive a print of the race?
I would say on an average approximately a minute and a half.
So we're talking a 2-minute process for
That's
the entire thing. Jim, most people see a finish line when they see a picture of a horse race, but there really is no finish line per se.
No, Gary. Again, the camera records only moving objects, so therefore, if there were a finish line here at Monticello, which there isn't, it would not record it anyway. But in order to ensure accurate alignment of every photo finish picture, you will note that each picture contains numerical guide registrations at the top and bottom of each picture. These are photographed moments before on the extremities of the film. And then when the enlargement is made of each picture, it is really and truly an extension of the finish line that you see here on the picture of these registration. And the purpose of all of this is to ensure that this perpendicular finish line has been accurately placed.
You said that you were at 30 different harness tracks. Besides Monticello, what are some of the tracks that Jones Precision's at?
Presently, Aqueduct, Belmont, Meadowlands, Monmouth Park.
You have it covered.
Yes, we do cover a goodly number.
Well, you explained very well the process from when the photo is taken to when the judges see the picture. And what we're going to do now is go downstairs and actually talk with one of the judges and ask him what happens from the judge's viewpoint when they're going to receive the picture. Thanks a lot, Judge.
Fine.
Thank you. We've moved downstairs now from the photo finish room to the judges' quarters, and I'm with one of the associate judges at Monticello Raceway, Mr. Alan Crawford, who has been a judge in harness racing for a good 30 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What we'd like to do is just talk about what happens after the picture is sent down from the photo finish room. What is the process that the judges go through?
Well, when we ask for a photo, which is displayed on the tote, then they project the photo down to us in this area right here. And then we okay that, and then with that we put the numbers up, like it could be 1, 2, 3, and the photo sign comes down. We recheck again, no objections and no inquiries and so forth, and the race is made official.
Now, if it's very close, then you ask for a print.
And if it's very close, we ask for a print. And of course, then before that photo is displayed down to the public, we check that out also.
Now, in the 35 seconds that it takes to make the picture, what do the judges do? What is the judges' process immediately following a race?
Following a race, we make sure there's no, we're not going to have any inquiry. We make sure we haven't got an objection, that there's nothing, no interference of any kind that we can see. We check that all out, and with that, then we make it official.
Now, do the judges that sit in here, do they follow certain aspects of the race? In other words, are you assigned certain portions of the racetrack to follow, or do you follow the entire race?
You follow the whole race, except there's a few trailers back 16th of a mile. You're not going to worry about those. I mean, the patrol judges pick those up. And we concentrate on what the action is in the front and then more so when they're coming right to the finish wire.
But for the public discretion, everything is right there on photo. Who wins the race? It's right there for everybody to see.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you very much, Judge.
You're welcome.
Judge Alan Crawford at Monticello Raceway. Well, now we've taken you upstairs and shown you how a picture is made of a harness race. We talked to Judge Alan Crawford, and he told you what the judges do in their process to show the public how each race comes out. Remember that race at the beginning of the inside track piece on the photo finish? That race that we saw with Jerry Glance's stretch call? Well, here's the picture. And Alfano Hanover and Jim Bargine, horses 5 and 7, they came in 2nd and 3rd in a dead heat. And you can't really get a better picture than that. We'll be back with more on the inside track right after these messages. Promotional considerations for the inside track provided by Carlos's Restaurant, the best Italian food in Sullivan County. Lefty's Charbroil, the better burger place. Kessler Brothers Butchers, Kessler's label enhances your table. The Bagel Bakery, famous for bagel treats and sandwiches, open 7 days. House of Lions, fine dining in a country inn atmosphere. Dunkin' Donuts, it's worth the trip, open 24 hours. Ellery's Betty Bright Cleaners, now in Monticello and the Ellenville IGA. Capito Brothers Tire Specialists, for family care of your tire needs. The Holiday Inn Restaurant of Liberty, diversity in dining for the public appetite. And the Lin Yan Chinese Restaurant, authentic Chinatown delights right here in Sullivan County. Welcome back to the Inside Track. Time now for the Professor segment with Mr. John Manzi. Professor, welcome once again to the Inside Track.
Good to be here again, Seth.
We have 2 great races for the fans, so I'm going to keep the talking, my talking anyway, to a minimum point. First of all, the $1 million Meadowlands Pace from Friday, July 17th. A truly great race, as the people will see. Set up the race for us and tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, it's a 10-horse field. No, check that. So it's a 12-horse field, and they went in qualifiers. The week before, they had 3 divisions for qualifiers. The top 4 horses qualified for the finals 1 week before. And they raced for a total of, incredible as it may seem, and as it is, $1 million.
Do you know offhand how much the winning horse gets out of that?
The winning horse gets $500,000.
Not bad.
The horse that finished second gets $250,000. The horse that finishes third, $120,000. Fourth is worth $80,000. And for just a little 5th place finish, it's $50,000.
The $1 million Meadowlands Pace. I think what we'll do is we'll watch the race, and then you'll give us the analysis afterwards, because as the people will see, it was quite an incredible race.
An incredible race. Anybody could have won it at the top of the stretch, and can we tell who won it, or are we going to wait, let them see who won it?
Let them see.
Okay, you'll never figure who it was.
Okay, July 17th, 1981, as we set the stage, the $1 million Meadowlands Pace. Let's now go to the monitor and the call of the race with Mr. Ed Gorman.
Here they come. Go away first. It's going to be Numero with Seahawk Hanover going right up to take charge. Out quickly on the outside, that's Slapstick going to move up into contention. New York Motoring drops in on the rail 4th. Land Grant in 5th with Computer tucked in on the rail 6th. Then it's Eastern Skipper moving to the outside from 7th. Armbro Whiz is next. Along the outside is Concord, and down on the rail, that's No Nero, followed by Brand New Fella. Last as they come off the turn is Night Wind. That quarter in a flat 28. They head down the back stretch. Seahawk Hanover has a 2-length advantage. Slapstick is tucked in 2nd. Numero's in 3rd. Here comes Land Grant moving right up to join the leaders. Going to be followed by Eastern Skipper up into 5th and going up. New York Motoring is 6th. Armbro Whiz is 7th. Computer's 8th and locked in along the rail. Concord right alongside is 9th. Brand New Fella goes to the outside looking to avoid traffic problems. Then it's Night Wind and it's No Nero. They went the half in 56.4. It's anybody's shot right now on the turn. Land Grant's got a head advantage, but Seahawk Hanover controls the rail, and Slapstick is up and ready to move at them along with Numero along the inside in 3rd. Up a closer 4th now comes Hervé Filion with Eastern Skipper. Coming 3 wide is Slapstick, ready to make his charge at the leaders. Then it's Armbro Whiz. Concord stacks to the outside and trying to find some kind of room is Computer. 3/4 now in 1:25.3, and going off by 3 lengths is Seahawk. He's all alone in mid-stretch. Seahawk Hanover's got it by 5. They're spread across the track trying to take the second spot. Now coming is Concord. Concord is closing in. Concord coming with computer. It's Concord.
Concord with Dr. Jack Hayes, Professor, 154
What a race.
and 3. Okay, I'm going to let you just take over. Just let me say one thing. Concord was 9th at the half. This was truly any horse could win the race. What'd you make out of it?
Quick times, quick fractional times, and a sort of a cavalry charge, 12 horses, but Benny Webster looked like he had the best of it and even fooled Ed Gorman because Ed thought he was going to win it. I'm sure the way he was calling it. But Billy O'Donnell, a nifty piece of driving, coming between horses and shooting out at the end, but he didn't get
computer.
it. On computer, that's right. He didn't get the best of it, and he came on, but conquered. John Hayes, Dr. John Hayes on the far outside. He was 9th at the top of the lane, like you said, Suss, and he moved to the outside. He got his big pacer in gear, and he won his 8th race of the year. Concord, owned by the BJ Stables, and Charles Juravinsky of Canada. Canadian horse, American bred, an albatross.
And to the average race fan, or to the fan that was watching that race, it seemed that Seahawk Hanover did have the race won. In fact, as you said, Ed Gorman was calling the race. And at one point, he said out in front by 5 lengths.
And he also said that they were fighting for second. Who was going to get there for second? But Seahawk, the last couple steps, he got a little tired. Fractional times, 28, 56 and 4, 125 and 3. Benny Webster said after the race, had he been able to go a little bit slower, he might have won it. Truly a great racehorse, too, the Seahawk Hanover.
Okay, the $1 million Meadowlands Pace, you saw it here.
Three New York bred horses and 3 possible classic eligibles are there. New York Motoring, Billy Poffringer's brother to Happy Motoring, was 4th. Armbro Wiz finished 7th, and Brand New Fella, who was one of the favorites, a disappointing 9th for Warren Cameron. Though, look for these horses out in our classic.
And that's an excellent lead-in from the Professor to our next piece of tape, which is the New York Sire Stakes from Roosevelt Raceway. We haven't had Roosevelt on. Quickly and briefly tell us a little bit about Roosevelt Raceway, and then we'll take a look at the race, which features many of the horses that people can see at the Monticello Classic.
All right, so that's Roosevelt Raceway, where it all began, where it is today, right?
You've heard that somewhere before.
That's what they say, Sonny Werblin. He is there now. Roosevelt started in 1940, the first track to have parimutuel racing. 1940 under George Morton Levy, a half-mile oval in Westbury, New York. They've been racing there. They instituted the starting gate back in 1946, Steve Phillips starting gate, which brought harness racing into its own.
Okay, let's take a look at this race. It's from July 4th, 1981. Of course, race number 6, the purse over $101,000. New York Sire Stakes for 3-year-old colts and geldings. That's the stage. Let's now go to the call of the race with Mr. Jack Lee.
This field is on gate. They're off on the middle track. Ifs and Buts tries for the lead. Up the rail is Leopard. Moving between them is Shadow Dancing. They're in the first turn. Leopard shows the way for Doug Ackerman by a full length. Shadow Dancing is tucked in second, parked on the outside. Doc's Fella third, up the rail. Napoleon Don fourth, moving on the outside. Ifs and Buts is fifth. Marshall Tucker moves up 6th. Brand New Fella 7th. Gonna Be Happy is 8th. Armbro Whiskey 9th in the trailer. Flying Rivaler at the quarter pole. It's Leopard on the lead by a full length. The quarter mile was in 29 and 3. Around the paddock turn the first time. Leopard leads it, parked on the outside. Doc's Fella is second, along the inside. Shadow Dancing gets a good trip up third. Moving with cover on the outside, Ifs and Buts is fourth. They're in the stretch the first time. Leopard shows the way by a length and a half. Shadow Dancing is second. Down along the inside, that's Napoleon Don now third. Parked the outside, Doc's Fella fourth. Ifs and Buts the outside fifth. Marshall Tucker sixth. Brand New Fella starts his move on the outside. The half was in 59 and 3. Down the back stretch the final time. Leopard on top by a little more than a length. On the outside, Doc's Fella regains second along the inside. Shadow Dancing. Here's a big move on the far outside by Brand New Fella up for the lead. They're at the three-quarter pole. Leopard has the lead. Brand New Fella alongside the challenge. It's 3 lengths back to Doc's Fella third. 3/4 and 130 flat. They move around the final turn. Brand New Fella. Warren Cameron has moved to take the lead. Leopard along the inside, back second. Doc's Fella third. Moving on the outside, Armbro Whiskey fourth. They're in the stretch for the finish. Brand new fella Warren Cameron, stretch it out. They've got 3 on the field. Down the middle of the track comes Ombra Whiskey. Deep stretch, it's all brand new fella in front.
Brand new fella, Professor, with Warren Cameron, the sulky, 2 minutes winning that sire stakes. And for the people at home, that race was an excellent preview of some of the horses that people will be able to see in the Monticello Classic.
That's right, Suss. Most of those horses will probably be racing in our Classic. You know, Brand New Fella seems to be the morning line favorite, and he has been beating these New York bred colts week in and week out, but who knows, anything can happen in a horse race. Brand New Fella, again in the mud, he won there in 2 minutes. He won at Monticello in the mud in 58-4, and he can step on a dry track too. He's had 6 wins in 10 starts this year, but like I said, anything could happen.
2 great races, the $1 million Meadowlands Pace and the $100,000 Sire Stakes from Roosevelt. What we're going to do when we come back after the commercial, we'll take a look at trivia, and then we're going to have another classic flashback for you, and the Professor and I will talk more about the upcoming Monticello Classic eliminations on July 26th and the final on August 2nd. So we'll have that for you right after this message.
Promotional considerations for the Inside Track provided by Claire's County Seat Restaurant for a congenial and truly elegant culinary experience. Ralph Cutler's Mail Modes, home of the Sandsabelt Slack, free alterations while you wait. The Down Under Lounge, if it ain't happening at the Down Under, it ain't happening. The Canton Restaurant, in Monticello, Chinese means Canton, open 7 days. Skaters World, you can enjoy the racing while the kids enjoy the skating. Willie's Bend and Elbow, serving dinner, pizza, and sandwiches in a lounge of distinction. Raceway Dining Terrace, enjoy complete dinners weeknights for $9.95 while you watch the racing. Miss Monticello Diner, the finest in early American home-style cooking. And Bernie's Holiday Restaurant, food served with a pinch of love.
Welcome back to the Inside Track. Time now for trivia. Last week the question was, Del Insco was in 4 of the first 6 Monticello Classics. What was his best finish? And Professor, it happened twice.
Right, he had 2 second-place finishes, and I'll see if I can remember. Adishai,
correct,
one, and Happy Blue Chip, the other.
In Classics 2 and 4, respectively.
Right.
And that was correctly answered by Mr. Bernie Devlin, good friend of yours.
That's
of
right.
the
Clocker Sid,
Rockwood Garden Apartments in Middletown, and he wins dinner for 2 in our lovely Raceway Dining Terrace. Professor, the question for this week.
This week, Marvin Maker, little Marvin Maker, holds the Mighty M record for the most wins in a single season with 176. What was his best Classic finish?
And we'll find out next week. And some lucky viewer can win dinner for 2 in our lovely Raceway.
Only if they write in, though, right?
Only if they write in and send us the correct answer. Now it's time, Professor, to preview upcoming promotions at the Raceway, and there really is only one. It's the Monticello Classic.
It's a great promotion. We can have Beasley and the Beast, and we can have the Mameltonian, but nothing promotes harness racing like a good horse race. An example, at the Meadowlands, our $1 million race, 34,000 people. Our race is our Classic, our $300,000 Classic on August 2nd. The eliminations come this Sunday, the 26th of July, Sunday afternoon. And it's going to be a great race. Brand New Fella looks like he'll be the morning line favorite, but as of yet, here it is. I can say this a Monday morning, and right now we have 8 horses that have entered thus far. They have till Wednesday at 9 o'clock to enter. Napoleon Don, Brand New Fella, Leopard, Doc's Fella, a few of the Penman, a few of the horses that are already in. And one horse, a supplementary entry called Broker's Cash from the Clint Galbraith farm, Suss. What that means, a supplementary entry, is that for $15,000, he's going to take a shot at qualifying for the final for the $300,000 race. He has to put up $15,000 because he didn't make all his payments, and he's like buying in the race, where the other horses pay the starting fee of $3,000. So Broker's Cash, Clint Galbraith's horse, a winner of 9 of 10 starts this year by his stallion Tropic Song, is going to be a threat.
Okay, so what we're going to do is right now take you back in time. Monticello Classic Flashback. We take you to August 3rd, 1980, race number 7 for the call of the Classic 6.
Still on the outside, filibuster back to 3rd. The half in 57-4. That second quarter 29-2. Into the clubhouse turn. Tyler B at the rail. Denali moves to him on the outside. Filibuster 3rd. Secret Service on the move 4th. Happy Tidal Wave 3 wide 5th and flying up. Herbaugh's Au Revoir on the far outside. Champagne Happy locked in at the rail with Rebel Fella. Empire Lobel on the outside. Mastermind with the best view. They head to the 3 quarters. Happy Tidal Wave ahead. 3 quarters in 129 flat. Paddock turn, the final time. Tyler B with the lead. Happy Tidal Wave on the outside. Herbo's Au Revoir, 3 wide third. Filibuster off stride. They've got an eighth of a mile to pace. Now they turn for home. Tyler B and Bill Herman by a length. Carmine on the outside with Happy Tidal Wave. Tyler B in front and drawing away from Happy Tidal Wave. Tyler B wins the Classic.
Tyler B with Billy Herman in the sulky, winning the Monticello Classic 6, 158 and 2. And Professor, the fans can see great
He's going to be back
again.
too. Billy Herman's got Napoleon Don. He entered already, like I said earlier. Billy Herman's going to be back. So it's going to be a great race. The eliminations this Sunday, so fans get out and see some real great harness racing.
Okay, once again, the Classic eliminations July 26th, and the final, of course, on August 2nd. Professor, thank you once again.
It's good to be here, Seth.
And my thanks, of course, to Mr. Jim Bernhardt and Alan Crawford for joining me in discussing the photo finish. And we'll have more for you next week, including those Classic eliminations on the inside track. See you then.
Meet you at Monticello. Great racing at Monticello. The world's very fastest half-mile track. That's Monticello Raceway. Meet you at